So we had an overnight stay. My son had a fainting episode that resulted in a complete collapse, and he then actually fell down some stairs. And when we were discharged from hospital, we didn't really know why that had happened, and the staff, the doctors didn't really know. So we were discharged and we were told that there'd be a follow-up appointment, but we didn't know what to do if something like that happened again. We were verbally told, if he has another episode, come back. But we didn't actually know what another episode was. So a couple of days later, he had another sort of heart palpitations and was feeling unwell. And I didn't know whether to bring him back to the hospital or go to my GP. So I ended up going to my GP, and I was in the office trying to explain to him what had happened to Ollie. I didn't have any paperwork to say what had happened, who we'd seen, what the doctors had thought it was or what the treatment was, and my GP had none of that information either. And so I had to try and remember all the things that had happened over the 48 hours that Ollie had been in the hospital, and it was really difficult to pinpoint exactly what had happened and what went wrong, and my GP didn't know. So he ended up saying, well, you better go back to hospital because I don't know what's going on. And then that ended up us coming back into ER, sitting there for a couple of hours only to be told, oh no, go home, you've got a cardiac appointment in 5 weeks' time. So it was stressful for me, it was stressful for Ollie, sitting there listening to us trying to work out what had happened. And it was just, it was a waste of my time, the GP's time, and I guess the hospital's time. Unfortunately, I did have to come to the hospital another time, and this time I did actually receive a discharge summary, and it made the follow-up care so much better. My son came in an ambulance. He'd had a really bad anaphylactic reaction to a bee sting. He was really close to dying, and it was really frightening. The staff were amazing. They got him back. He stayed in overnight the next day just to stabilise. And on our discharge, we got a discharge summary. And on there it had our instructions of what we were to do afterwards. So it included things like going down to the pharmacy, getting our EpiPen, the emergency numbers to contact, what to do if he got stung again. And I felt like we were covered, even though it was really scary because I was really frightened what would happen if he stood on another bee. I just felt like I knew what to do and that the staff knew. When you leave hospital with your sick child, it's really stressful for the whole family. I can't stress enough how important it is for us to leave here with a discharge summary. It helps us have the best care for our child at home. It makes us feel safer. We have a better sense of what to do if something goes wrong. And I just think it's so important for the safety of our children to have a discharge summary.